There's a moment in the year 170 AD on a frozen battlefield along the Danube River, where Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, sat alone in his tent, surrounded by death, plague, and betrayal. And instead of breaking down, he picked up his journal and wrote a single line that, almost 2,000 years later, still has the power to rewire the way you handle every ounce of pressure in your life. And what he wrote wasn't some soft, poetic comfort. It was a protocol, a psychological weapon. And by the end of this video, you'll understand all 10 parts of it, especially rule number 7, which most men will never figure out on their own. Most people hear the word Stoicism and they think it means showing no emotion, grinding your teeth, and just tolerating life. That's not what Marcus Aurelius practiced. What he built, night after night, in the pages of what we now call meditations, was something far more dangerous. It was a system, a mental operating system for chaos, not for avoiding pain, but for becoming the kind of man that pressure can't deform. And that's exactly what we're breaking down today, the Aurelius Protocol. 10 rules extracted from his personal writings and his life, designed to make you unshakable when everything around you is falling apart. If you're new here to Stoic 95, this is what we do. We go deep into the philosophy that built empires, and we translate it into something you can actually use on a Monday morning when your world is on fire. Subscribe now, because what's coming in this video is not surface level. This will change how you carry yourself starting tonight. Rule number 1 of the Aurelius Protocol: control the first thought. Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Now on the surface, that sounds like a motivational poster, but there is a layer underneath it that most people walk right past. What he's really saying is that chaos doesn't enter your life through events. It enters through your interpretation of events. The moment something goes wrong, you lose the job, she walks out, the money dries up. There is a gap. A tiny, almost invisible gap between what happens and how you respond. And in that gap lives your entire future. Most men don't even know that gap exists. They react. They spiral. They let the first emotion become the first action, and then they spend 6 months cleaning up the mess. Marcus trained himself to live in that gap. He made it wider. He made it a room he could walk into. And that's rule 1. You don't control what hits you, but you train yourself to control what you do in the breath right after. Rule number 2. Let silence expose the room. This is the one that most men underestimate, and honestly, it's the one that will give you the most power the fastest. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire of 60 million people, and multiple ancient sources describe the same thing about him. He was the quietest person in every room he entered, not because he was weak, because he understood something about silence that almost nobody talks about. Silence creates a vacuum, and in that vacuum, other people can't help themselves. They fill it. They over-explain. They reveal their motives. They show you exactly who they are without you ever having to ask. When you are the man who speaks least and observes most, you become the most dangerous person at the table, not because you're scheming, because you are seeing clearly while everyone else is performing. But here's the part most men miss. Silence isn't just a strategy for reading people. It's a strategy for protecting your own energy. Every word you speak is a withdrawal from your mental bank account. Marcus guarded his like a man who knew the cost of every syllable, and so should you. Rule number 3, and this one cuts deep: treat every obstacle as a curriculum. In Meditations, Book 5, Marcus writes something that, when you really sit with it, changes everything. He says, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This isn't some inspirational cliche. This was a man writing to himself while dealing with a literal plague, the Antonine Plague that killed between 5 and 10 million people across his empire, while simultaneously fighting Germanic tribes on multiple borders, while members of his own court were plotting against him. And in the middle of all that, he didn't write, "Why me?" He wrote, "This is the material." That reframe is the entire game. Because most men look at problems and see walls. Marcus looked at problems and saw weights at the gym. Every crisis was a repetition. Every betrayal was a lesson in discernment. Every loss was training in detachment. And the men who learn to see it this way, not as toxic positivity but as a genuine philosophical practice, those men become impossible to keep down. Because you can't defeat a man who uses your punches to get stronger. You just can't. Now stay with me because rule number 7 ties back to this in a way that's going to hit different. We'll get there. Rule 4 of the Aurelius Protocol. Audit your circle by what it costs you, not by what it gives you. Marcus was surrounded by people who smiled at his face and sharpened knives behind his back. Cassius Avidius, one of his own generals, literally launched a rebellion against him. And what did Marcus do? He didn't rage. He didn't go on a purge. He reflected. He asked himself a question that you need to start asking. Who in my life requires me to become someone I'm not in order to keep them comfortable? That question alone, if you answer it honestly, will rearrange your entire social world. Because the most expensive people in your life aren't the ones who take your money. They're the ones who take your peace. They're the ones who drain your clarity. And Marcus understood that an emperor with a polluted inner circle is weaker than a peasant with a clean mind. Your environment is not just around you. It's inside you. And every person you tolerate who shouldn't be there is a crack in your foundation that will show up the moment real pressure arrives. Rule 5. Rehearse the worst before it arrives. This practice is called premeditatio malorum, and it was one of Marcus's most consistent habits. Every morning, he would mentally walk through the worst things that could happen that day. Not to be negative, not to be paranoid, but to take away their power. Because here's the psychology behind it. Fear is loudest when it's vague. The moment you look directly at the thing you're afraid of, the moment you say it out loud, name it, sit with it, it shrinks. Marcus wrote, "Begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." He didn't write that because he was pessimistic. He wrote it because a man who has already faced the worst in his mind cannot be ambushed by it in reality. And that's a level of mental preparation that most men never touch. It gets deeper though. Rule 6. Fall in love with discipline, not motivation. Marcus never once mentions motivation in his journals. Not once. You know why? Because motivation is weather. It changes by the hour. Discipline is climate. It's the underlying system that holds everything together whether you feel like it or not. There's a passage in Book 5 where Marcus essentially tells himself to get out of bed and stop making excuses. The Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man alive, arguing with himself at dawn about getting up. That's how human he was. But what separates him from most men is what he did next. He got up anyway, not because he felt inspired, because he had made a covenant with himself that his actions would not be held hostage by his feelings. That's the Aurelius standard. You don't wait to feel ready. You act, and the feeling catches up. Or it doesn't, and you act anyway. Now rule number 7. And I told you this one would hit different. Stop explaining yourself. This is where silence from rule 2 and the obstacle philosophy from rule 3 converge into something incredibly powerful. Marcus Aurelius almost never defended himself publicly. When Cassius rebelled, Marcus reportedly said he wished Cassius hadn't been killed by his own soldiers because he would have preferred to forgive him, in person, in front of the Senate. Not to be soft. To demonstrate that no accusation, no betrayal, no attack could make him lose his center. That is what it means to be unshakable. Because when you explain yourself, you hand people your blueprint. You show them where your insecurities live. You invite them to argue with your reasons. But when you simply act, when your life is your argument, there is nothing for anyone to grab onto, nothing to debate, nothing to undermine. Most men over-explain because they're seeking validation disguised as conversation. Marcus moved in silence and let the results scream. That's the energy. That's the protocol. Stop narrating your journey to people who aren't even walking their own. Rule 8. Remember you are temporary. Memento mori. Marcus returned to this theme more than any other in Meditations, not because he was morbid, but because he understood that the awareness of death is the single most clarifying force available to a human mind. He wrote, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." When you carry that awareness, not as anxiety, but as fuel, everything changes. You stop wasting time on petty arguments. You stop tolerating situations that insult your potential. You stop postponing the life you actually want. Death isn't the enemy. Forgetting about it is. Because a man who forgets he's mortal starts living as if he has unlimited time, and a man with unlimited time wastes all of it. Rule 9. Serve something beyond yourself. This is the one the modern self-improvement world gets completely wrong. It's not all about you. Marcus didn't endure 20 years of war, plague, and betrayal for his own glory. He did it because he believed, down to his core, that his purpose was to serve Rome, to protect it, to leave it better than he found it. And that outward commitment is what anchored him when everything internal was being tested. A man who only lives for himself will crumble under enough pressure because there's nothing outside of him pulling him forward. But a man who serves his family, his mission, his community, his craft, that man has roots the storm can't reach. Find something worth suffering for, and suffering becomes fuel instead of punishment. Rule number 10, and this is the capstone of the entire protocol: return to yourself every night. Marcus wrote Meditations at the end of his days, not for publication, not for fame, for himself. It was his nightly practice of sitting with his own mind, examining his own thoughts, and holding himself accountable when no one else was watching. That is the deepest form of strength there is, the willingness to judge yourself honestly in private. No audience, no applause, just you and the truth of how you showed up today. Most men avoid that mirror. They numb out with screens, with noise, with distractions. But the man who sits with himself every night, who asks, "Did I live according to my principles today?" That man compounds in ways that are invisible at first, but unstoppable over time. Marcus Aurelius wasn't born unshakable. He built it. One journal entry at a time, one night at a time. That is the Aurelius Protocol. 10 rules that weren't written for an audience. They were written by a man trying to survive the weight of the world without losing his soul, and almost 2,000 years later, they still work. Not because the world has stayed the same, but because human nature hasn't changed at all. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me which one of these 10 rules do you need to apply the most right now in your life. Be honest. That honesty alone is Rule 10 in action. And if there's a man in your life, a brother, a friend, someone going through it right now, send him this video. Sometimes the right words at the right time can change the entire direction of a man's life. You might be the reason he finds this today. This is Stoic 95. Stay quiet, stay sharp, and never let the world tell you who you are. You decide that in the silence.